who wants to give us the recap?
Shit's weird.
No, that's the leather game.
Different. Yeah, I was about to say different game.
I got there first.
See, but what you said, like with how you said it, it sounded like that's leather game.
I
No, I said that's
heard
the
that
other
too.
I said that's the other game.
I know what
Me?
you said, but you sound like the way that you said it. Both me and Cody heard that's leather game.
I thought you were talking about me, and I was like, I'm not slurring. I only had 2 drinks
Oh boy.
so far.
Oh, it's gonna be that kind of game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm celebrating a successful Friday.
Nice. Congratulations. Good job.
So,
Party split up further and then reconvened with different groups coming together. The Media and her crew wandered off into a dark room and time traveled. And then Legacy is like, no, we're gonna like keep looking at the other rooms that we have not gone into. And reconvened with Lockhart and Marcus after Lockhart tried to kill Marcus. And discovered that Red Getty was in fact not Ben Getty, which should be obvious because Ben Getty is very short. We also found a picture of Joseph Diego, a lady tall Getty, and a little girl that is the fucking ring girl that has been bothering us.
Demon child.
Demon child.
What?
Media saw Joseph Diego arguing with somebody from the company. I think it's the company that Cassidy is weirdly concerned with. Maybe?
that would be
Wow.
Hergetz Liao, the pharmaceutical company, which is technically a subsidiary of Tetsuo at this point in time.
That's when they traveled
Drugs
into
are
the
bad.
past. They also looked into the future, one of which is like Dead Planet. And before Dead Planet is everything is an amalgamation of pain and screaming.
Horrible unified cyber flesh planet.
Yikes.
Or building. It wasn't necessarily the whole planet, but it was a structure that was very big that you were inside. It's difficult to tell scale from the location you were looking at.
All the shit Lockhart's been dealing with, other than just being in the weird mannequin room, is was visions. They also found a cybernetics list of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Met back up with Kaya, Legacy, and Cosmic. Found a painting studio / gallery that has some weird ass paintings. Legacy saw Ghost Joseph Diego. Marcus and Cosmic may or may not have seen shit. And then they turn around and pick up a picture, and the picture starts talking to them.
Oh, so it really is in the last few minutes I didn't get to watch. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah, in
Okay.
the literal final minutes of the session, a portrait of some kind of unusual scrawling that looked vaguely familiar.
The symbol that Maxine drew, because Maxine drew the 2 symbols, one for Observer and one for her Dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
And we found the one for her Dreamer, and it did not cause Legacy pain like it usually does to look at that shit. And it turned into a face and started talking. And everybody could hear it. It wasn't just Legacy that could hear it. Everybody could hear it.
Okay. So that's one Dreamer, the painting, right? Maxine's dreamer, I assume?
Yes. So Legacy, Marcus, Cosmic, and Kaya and Lockhart are in the gallery and are going to be talking to Maxine's dreamer. And supposedly, I think, Observer is going to be interacting with Media, Cassidy, and Talmay? Or something?
Possibly. But we're going to pick up right where we left off with everyone in the painting room having just discovered the new dreamer, who, as of this point, has not been named or has any name hinted at.
So, when we are hearing this, is it like PA system type vibes, or is it like psychic in our heads, all of us hearing it?
I'm glad you asked, because I have a voice modulator here that I'm going to use to give you a... I won't use it the whole time, because I imagine you probably will not understand a lot of the words I'm saying, but there is a particular... It is speaking sort of directly into your brain in that way, but it would sound something like...
Hello. I'm here. Who are you?
Oh my god.
Legacy's just gonna like squint at this painting. And I think Marcus and Cosmic were behind her. And she's going to look up and then look over her shoulder. Like, making sure that they're seeing this shit too.
For the record, the painting is not moving. Like, it's not like animating, like it's
okay,
like puppeting words, but you have a distinct impression that this is the face, quote unquote, the speaking. Like it would be as if you are finding a portrait of someone and hearing their voice in your head, like that. You know that intuitively, the voice you're hearing is the voice attached to this imagery. But it is not like moving like a TV screen. And
Gotcha.
yeah, Marcus and Cosmic are both. This it's kind of jarring because Marcus is obviously shocked, and you've seen him be shocked before. Cosmic is like wide-eyed and kind of mouth agape because this is a very unusual moment where you see him plain face shocked, like, what am I experiencing?
Okay. No,
But
she knows she's not going crazy. She'll look back at the picture.
What the fuck?
I'm Legacy, and what do we call you?
You may call me Witness.
Witness. Okay. You wouldn't happen to know Maxine, would you?
there's a long pause, and then
No. I do not know a Maxine, though she may be here in one of the rooms.
Okay. So, are you like controlling this house then, or you just like know what's going on in this house?
The house is not under my control, but it is, or was, part of me.
Okay. Kind of look towards Kaya and Lockhart now because they were at a different part of the gallery.
They are? Okay.
That like
Sure.
they like from what I gather or remember, like Legacy, Marcus, and Cosmic had wandered over to like where the windows are, kind of, and were looking out. And Kaya and Lockhart were kind of looking through the paintings and stuff like that were actually like, hung on the walls.
Oh yeah, cool.
It's not such a big room that you like. It's all Kaya and everyone else in the gallery. All of you would hear this voice. The only people who would not immediately hear this voice are the people who are not in this immediate scene.
Okay. Kaya probably following or like walking through the art pieces with Lockhart. And once the voice starts, she just freezes. And just like as the talking continues, she just like slowly turns and like pokes her head around one of the fucking canvases. Just like to like look of just confusion and like bewilderment on her face as she looks to like see just a look of like, is that?
Yeah, you turn your head in the vague direction of where everyone else is huddled around this portrait. You know the voice is coming from there. You don't know what's talking, but you know there is an intuitive sense you feel that the voice, at least you're pretty sure, is coming from whatever is depicted on the portrait that they are looking at.
Lockhart is also a bit stunned, but turns and narrows her eyes at whatever this picture is, I guess.
Kaya's just gonna like even out of like, okay, do we join them or do we let them figure it out? yeah, she'll just fucking like poke Lockhart, like elbow her a little bit, like like a lower voice of just like, all right, are we joining them or are we letting them figure that shit out?
Lockhart will start moving over to the rest of the group.
Guess we're fucking joining them.
Still has the tiny paint can in her hand, by the way.
Well, good talk. Yeah, teamwork, communication. Love to see it.
Actions speak louder than words.
See?
It's not even the fucking sword, isn't it?
See, at least Legacy kind of communicates. Yeah, it's primarily arguing, but there is words.
It answers the question.
I'm gonna get you a fucking dictionary and what words mean.
Legacy seeing them approaching, like, looks back at this, like, portrait, even though it's, like, not animating, it's like, this is the face, so I need to look at the face when I'm talking to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this was once part of you. Okay, cool. And does the name Joseph Diego mean anything to you?
I have some memory of him.
And what would that memory be?
The current memories I have of him involve the most recent developments in the news. The other memories are in the other rooms.
Okay, the other, could could, what is this place that...
This place is my tomb and my body. It is a place of memories.
Little, like, tensing up of, like, tomb and body. Okay. She's like looks around again, make sure everybody is still there. Still a little concerned she is going crazy. Okay. So why? So there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff in here that doesn't make sense. How is there stuff from like 100+ years ago here? Is it actually here?
This place is a place of memory. Information that has taken form. It is not simply a physical location.
So does that mean you're just made up of memory?
That is precisely correct. I am the eternally living and dying memory.
Of, like, a handful of people, or of a lot of people?
Of everyone I come into contact with, including you and your friends.
It says that, and immediately there is like a holding out, like was already holding at like almost arm's length, arms straightened completely so it's as far away, and there's kind of this like look around of like, I don't want to touch it now.
She gonna set it down? What's she doing?
If there is like an empty easel or something that she
Yeah.
can set it on, it's immediately down.
You just immediately plop it into another easel nearby. That's like there's at least one or two other easels nearby. A couple of them have paintings stacked multiple. You just take one that's empty and just slap this on there and then let go of it. The sense of relief is minimal, but there is a sense of relief.
Look around for another second, like wipe hands on Cosmic's like shirt sleeve.
He doesn't even flinch, doesn't notice you. You just wipe your hands on his sleeve, and he's just like staring at this painting, as is Marcus, in just like both in this very similar position of eyes wide, jaws slightly slackened.
See this after she is done, like wiping hand on sleeve. Well, like first Cosmic, because she is closer to him at the moment, slowly reach out, single finger, poke jaw upward, close mouth, reach up to Marcus, do the same. Reboot the boys.
Both kind of shake their heads and get their senses about him, and Marcus will like look at Kaya and Lockhart. Do either of you want to take a crack at this? Not asking you, but that's Marcus like kind of passively like, what's going on?
At talking to the painting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just want to double check what you're asking here.
Mm-hmm.
Iris, do you want to? I'm asking conspiracy theory person.
Yeah, my brain is like whirring right now. I am so confused.
Okay. Because, like, you can imagine what Kaya talking to a dreamer would be like. It's exactly what you think it would be. That's why I'm like, hey, if you want to, like, do your conspiracy theory stuff and get actual information.
And
I'm also...
I can continue to ask questions too. Like,
Yeah,
Legacy
exactly.
just has to have her ADHD moment of like.
Just a quick reset. There's the
Quick
brief
reset.
pause. There's the brief pause where someone else can take a crack at it if there's anything immediate that comes to mind.
I know that Kaya is just going to slowly pull Larry back from where I know he was inching towards it.
He is staring at it like You ever see the Disney movie Aladdin, where Abu sees the big gem?
Yeah, that's exactly what I fucking was like. She's just gonna like see him slowly start moving, and she's just going to equally slowly put her hand and just slowly bring him back. And she's just gonna fucking like shrug, hand in the air, like, I don't fucking know. There's not a fucking manual for this shit. I don't know, is there?
No, there's not. So does that mean that like we walk through enough doors, we're just gonna end up in like fucking Kaya's childhood bedroom?
Eventually, there would be a door that leads you to such a place. Yes.
Right. Question, how the fuck do we get out of here?
I can direct you to the exit if you wish.
Does that mean you can just like make or show us or tell us, like, describe a map of this place?
Good looking the fucking map of you.
Unfortunately, I don't know the bounds of this place. There have been too many deaths for me to keep memory of the layout of rooms, and soon I will die again, only to create more rooms.
Too many deaths?
Correct. I have died too many times to keep track of the layout of rooms.
If you've died many times, how are you talking to us right now?
And so Legacy asked, how many times, if you died, how are you talking to us? Lockhart, what did you say?
And how exactly, what exactly killed you?
I kill myself against my own wishes. I am doomed to die. My purpose is to translate memory into information. I exist in a transient state of life and death. Each death, I lose what memories I collect and create more rooms. Each new life, I am given the time to collect again.
Do you know how many deaths you've had?
I don't. I have lost count.
And when was your last one?
Approximately 20 minutes before you walked in.
So this is a frequent thing for you.
I will die within the next 10 minutes.
So that's what, like 2 hours maybe? Joe?
What do you mean? Oh, are you talking about like time dilation stuff?
Yeah.
Roll me intelligence, or a clever check.
Actually, pull up Legacy's sheet. It did not do that. Oh, this'll get me a dreamer bonus, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
Conspiracy?
I will let you have conspiracy on this because you are dealing with weird time dilation fucky mechanics.
Mm.
There's a Reddit thread about this somewhere.
Um, okay. And you're gonna boost this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So with a 12, the best guess you're able to put to this, assuming there is some element of time dilation here that you're experiencing, it could be 10 minutes of perceived time that it is talking about, which could translate into 2 hours of real time. But you get the impression that the dreamer is talking about the perceived time that you would have to talk to it before it dies.
Mm. So, you
Ooh, also, as a freebie, it said within the next 10 minutes, not in a precise manner. I'll just say that you're clever enough that just thinking about the way it said it, it doesn't seem like it knows when it will die.
So when you die, do you just like forget everything? So like, are you not gonna remember this conversation? Or we're just gonna have to start this shit over again?
This conversation will be encapsulated into its own room somewhere else within the house. And I will be reset again, appearing in a different location than before.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that, after you die reset, that while we're walking around, we could walk into a room and just walk into this fucking conversation?
It is a possibility, albeit small, as I have died many, many times.
So, but you said you were created to turn memory into information. Who created you and how the fuck did they create that?
My existence as I currently am is happenstance as a result of being created for the purpose of transmitting memory into information. I was created by Joseph Diego and Johann Ben Getty.
You were created for the Hex Project, weren't you?
Yes.
Do you know about other dreamers?
I know there are multiple dreamers, and their likeness is within the rooms here. But I do not know immediately.
Do you know one that might go by the name Observer?
Yes, I know of the Observer, as the Observer knows of the Witness.
Oh boy. I have many questions, and I don't know which direction I need to go first. Just make sure I leave some room on how to get out of here. Well, somebody... Just pausing there for a second. Somebody, like, I think Talmay or something, actually found out a way to get out. Already. Because that was her, like, question to the book that we found.
Oh, right.
So, as long as we can reconnect with the other group, somebody already knows how to get out. So we don't necessarily need to waste time on that.
Cool. All good then. I forgot about that. Thank
And
you,
Lockhart?
Talmay.
Fuck. I forgot. Hang on.
Sorry, Iris.
I'll get it back.
I wanted to calm Amy's nerves because that's all she's been talking about.
Names. The names. Names of the other dreamers. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That works.
So what specifically about the other dreamers? Were you going to ask for the names of the other dreamers?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only names I know immediately are the Witness, the Pilgrim, the Observer, and the Prodigy.
Are all of them created by Joseph Diego?
In one way or another, we are all tied to Joseph Diego and Johann Ben Getty.
Lacey just, like, lifts a hand and drags her hand down her face very slowly. And as she does that, like, hand goes past her eyes, she just, like, shoots a look towards Lockhart and Kaya. It's very much, you guys know how to fucking pick 'em.
Marcus, like, hearing this, like, blinks for a second and shakes his head and just goes, wait. You were all... Every dreamer was made by these two dudes. But, and he turns to Lockhart, Kaya, and Legacy, and he just goes, but Observer was like a big thing. It was like a big ball of metal, kinda, right? Like, that was Observer, so is this the house? And he gestures to the painting. Is it just everything? What is it? Are we allowed to ask that?
I mean, yeah, but it wasn't... Legacy just kind of, like, head side to side in this, like, kinda motion. You weren't there when the computer knocked me on the ass, did you? Were you? I don't think you were. It's not just a thing. These things are also programs in a way. More than programs. Did it just say yes?
Marcus was, like, just kind of stammering for a second. But the Witness will say,
I am more than simply a presence in your mind and this house. More accurately, part of my physical is nano-sized.
Is what?
Nanomatronic.
Like nanomachines, nanomatronic.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
okay.
Okay.
So you're just tiny things. Is this like a bunch of tiny nano-sized things that like build together like ants and make, I don't know, illusions or houses or mazes?
I am not creating the house in a physical sense. I am in your mind. All of your minds.
Legacy is going to pull out her deck and scan first the area, and then she is going to, because Cosmic is not saying anything, so she's not going to be bothered by it, I'm sure.
Correct.
Scan him for signals specifically.
Roll me a clever check, and you can add your conspiracy bonus, and your dreamer bonus for this.
And my hacking suite?
I will let you use your hacking suite for this. I will. I think that's fair.
Fucking boost this shit too.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm not
Okay.
rolling good tonight. God damn it.
Still, 17 is way up there. So with a 17, you are like doing a scan on Cosmic, just going through. I don't think you've ever scanned Cosmic before. So
No.
you're getting Cosmic does have some cybernetics. Most of them are like subdermal. He doesn't have a lot of full body, or he doesn't have any full limb replacements, but like smaller augments on joints, parts of his fingers, some like brain augments that are meant for reflexes, and a few augments in and around his eyes to improve eyesight. As you're doing like a brief scan of him, since he's this close and doesn't have any means to like really stop you, or wouldn't even if he did, you're not seeing anything unusual. And then there is a moment where your like the data pad on your wrist, it just stops, and then everything just, the whole screen lights up. Like the scan would pick up signs and signals of tech in places there should not be signs and signals. Like you would get information about some sort of like electronic signature from an area where there is no cybernetic. And intuitively, this is like turning on a radio inside a bat cave and getting a very clear radio signal. It doesn't work. Like this should not be the case. And it almost feels like something like flipped a light switch. And as that happens, you hear the witness speak up again and say,
I do not have control over the memories that have been transformed into data presented here, but I am in all of you. There is nothing to be concerned about from that, as I cannot act. I can only witness.
And I assume that means you're just staying in everybody that you have come across. Then she says, and she's also gonna like try and like kind of screen record so that she can catch that scan, the visuals at least of it.
Sure. So you get a screen recording of all of the signals and just informational nonsense that you're looking at. Witness continues and says,
I am partially constructed as a nanite swarm, and I inhabit the bodies and minds of those I come into contact with. I am able to harvest the memories and information and translate it into data, as is my purpose, until I or my host dies.
Did Joseph Diego still have access to you? Does he still have access to you?
there's a long pause, long enough to the point where you're getting concerned, like, did it die? And then it speaks up.
I don't know. Though the answer may be in a previous incarnation, in another room.
Legacy, little tense, a little angry, but will kind of take a breath and shake her head and calm herself down as best she can. Yeah, if you just exist to translate memory to information, I'm assuming that means you have nothing in particular against people or the station, and don't act against them.
I don't act. I only witness.
Do you know if the Observer or any of the other Dreamers act against humans or the station?
Our purposes are different, and how we go about fulfilling our purpose is unique. It may involve interacting or harming others,
you know what the purposes of the others are?
The purpose of Observer and Pilgrim. The purpose of the others may be found in another room.
Can you tell us? Because the audio cut out on my end for a second. So it says he knows the purpose of Observer and Pilgrim.
Yes, and then the others he doesn't know. You'd have to go looking around in the other rooms to see if that's a previous memory of his or it.
Can you tell us what those two's purpose is?
The purpose of Observer is to collect information and store it, to consume and collect knowledge. The purpose of the Pilgrim is to transcend the machine.
Legacy just frowns very, very darkly at that. She does not like how that sounds at all.
So, you hear a whisper from Marcus. Transcend, like... does that mean, like, become... I don't know, like, become not a machine? Because part of these dudes is... part of them are already digital. They're not even physical. So, he just kind of gestures, like, he doesn't know what.
I don't know. Because Joseph Diego was also talking about transcending, if you remember that little recording Lindis gave us.
I do remember that.
I think anything involving the word transcend is not going to be good.
But he holds up a finger and just goes, it said it does not necessitate that it needs to harm people. Right? So...
Well, if we find Pilgrim and it is harming people and you want to have the philosophical debate, we can.
Marcus kind of shrinks. Just like, ooh.
She wasn't saying that at all mean. She's just like... We're splitting hairs right now.
Yeah, this Marcus just like he just shrinks from it because he's just like, ooh, okay, so it does not necessitate means it could or could not do harm to something. If it is, then that's a whole different ball game. That makes it kind of worse because it does not have to do that.
It can choose to.
True.
Many questions. Peanut Gallery, is there a question?
Nope. I mean, I know I have them, like, in the moment. But then something else happens, and I get distracted with another question. And something else happens, and I forget that one. Then something else happens, and I think of something else. It's just
Do you have a question right now that hasn't been derailed yet?
I already said no, I don't have any. But I just keep getting them and forgetting them.
Write them down.
I'm writing notes! When the fuck am I gonna write them down?
In the middle
I
of the
didn't
notes.
write
You're
all the
writing notes, by
words
the way.
that are coming out of his fucking mouth. I can't write down my thoughts. Iris, this is Iris's fucking duty here.
Don't you know conspiracy brain works best outside of session?
I'll be honest, that's the problem that I'm running into right now. I'm like, my brain is not in character at all right now. I'm just like, how does this all connect?
I mean, if you have a question that you're like, Lockhart wouldn't say that or wouldn't know how to say that, just fucking tell me.
Okay.
Legacy is the like little like weirdo that would have all the questions. Funnel it through her.
I will also permit you to, if you so choose, I will give you a potential question or series of questions if you want to spend prep for or something to like make me an offer as a DM, and I will give you ideas of things you could ask.
Were you about to have Marcus say something before I started talking?
No, that was his main thing was I wanted to give you like, hey, what is it? Because it has said that it is not the house or this ethereal space. It is a nanite swarm that has gotten inside of your body.
Yeah.
And is projecting
Actually,
shit, right?
So, that's actually a question that I'm asking, that I wanted to ask. I just don't know really how to word it. Is like, so are we... How I'm seeing this in my head is we got infected with these nanites, and so now we're not seeing what's actually there. We're kind of going through not just our psyche, but like all of the things that the witness has encountered, I guess, or the nanites themselves have
Shared
encountered.
hallucination through memories.
It is a homogeneous soup of memory and consciousness that has been seen by the witness and collected. You somehow, in between where you were at Voyager Ward and the house, you were... I don't want to use the word infected because that's a very aggressive term.
It's fucking dust.
But you were somehow afflicted, and this swarm of nanites got inside of you. And when they did, the progressing further into the house is is likely due to the nanites being in your system, as the memories that are contained within them are the quote-unquote rooms of the house. So if you wanted to ask, like, if you wanted to really like pull a matrix with it, is just like, is any of this real?
Well, Legacy's gonna ask. That brings a question that's important to know. This is memories. This is memories, and this is because of this. And she kind of looks down to like the recording of Cosmic on loop. Do we? So like these two, and she like jerks a thumb over her shoulder towards Marcus, and then gestures towards Lockhart. Fell like 3 stories minimum, and they're fine. Does that mean, like, can we get hurt here or no?
There will be consequences for irreverent behavior, not of my volition, but as a result of interacting with memories here. While the memories here cannot they can be interacted with, while your conscious minds may not be physically present. Your conscious mind may suffer consequences.
I feel like that's partially the DM trying to just talk a circle.
Partially,
Yes.
you can get hurt.
If you die in the game, you die in real life.
It's
There's
psychic
that.
damage.
It's partially like your body is not necessarily physically here, but your conscious mind is here, and if you act irreverently with these memories, the memories can't be changed or hurt. They are just data. But your conscious minds are quote unquote alive. And
It's like going
those can be
insane,
hurt.
basically. It's like a fancy way of going insane, essentially. Correct?
Mm-hmm. It's more or less saying there is a potential for great damage because you are not just random heaps of data that are unalterable and static, right?
I don't know if this is a good example, but it's like seeing something projected on a wall and trying to hit the projection but hitting the wall kind of thing.
Sorta, yeah.
She's more
like
just
color
I feel like you're like there's a little bit of concern of like, are you just gonna go smashing through memories? She's more concerned of like, okay, if these two fuckers fall through the floor again, do we have to worry that they're dead?
To give you a more straightforward answer, if that is more of a direct question, I will say witness will say,
You will not be physically harmed to the point of death while you are here.
We've got a question, but you probably don't remember if you died like 20 minutes ago.
Just ask it anyway.
Alright. Saying that we can't, there's going to be consequences on our consciousness, and our conscious minds can get hurt, essentially. Has anyone ever, like, fucked with memories a lot and then gone insane from it? That you know of?
There are none that I know by name, but I know of rooms that contain such interactions, where individuals had flippantly interacted with some of the memories, and subsequently been affected by them.
So what happened to the girl?
Say what?
Finish what you're saying first.
I will say on an above table level, the witness knows some things immediately. But if it doesn't know something immediately, it will know whether or not a room with that thing exists.
Doesn't know what's in the file, but knows that the file exists in a cabinet somewhere.
Correct. So it might not be able to tell you a name of someone who drove themselves crazy, but it will be able to say that has happened before. Same thing for any question you could think of. It might not be able to know the answer, but it can tell you if an answer exists.
Okay.
I will
That's
also
great.
give you this one for free. I will give you this one for
Oh, go
free.
ahead.
You could ask about any of the rooms you have been in up to this point.
Well, I guess he's not necessarily a room, but is going to circle back around to something. This is the question I was asking.
Mm-hmm.
So, the girl that was in the hallway that didn't look quite right. Is that because she went crazy or something else?
Some memories are older than others. Some data has been corrupted or tampered with. And some memories have been warped by the source from which they were taken.
Do you know where she was taken from?
The shadow you are referring to is likely the child of Joseph Diego.
An above table. I'm assuming there has never been any mention of Joseph Diego having a kid.
Correct. In the public eye, it has never been brought up ever.
So what happened to her?
I don't know, though there is a room with the answer.
Is it a room we can get to?
There is a way to such a room.
Is there a way to more intentionally navigate these rooms?
As he said that, and as Lockhart asked that question, just like head thunk back against Marcus's arm. Exasperation.
Marcus, like, quietly kind of whispers to you, just like, that was a really long way of saying yes. To Lockhart's question.
There is a connection from room to room by time. There is also a room disjoint from the rest.
Marcus will give Legacy a quick pat on the shoulder and then hold up a finger, just like, okay, I know you're frustrated, and he will just hold up a hand and say, "Can you just explain that a little bit more thoroughly, please?"
And that was a noise from both Legacy and Z.
The witness, like, there's a pause, and then it says,
The common factor between any set of memories is the person they originate from. If you are looking for a specific memory, going through each room based on a specific time, you will have a better chance of going where you intend.
Joe, you're losing
Mhm.
us.
Is that? I think I understand. Is that like physically or mentally though?
Is it like we
It's like
need
following
to
a
have
string.
these intention? Or
If we think really, really, really hard about the room we want to go to next, is that what comes on the other
Yeah.
side of the door?
like if we think really, really hard about July 9th, fucking 2034, are we gonna get to a memory around that date? Like,
it's less of thinking about a specific date and more of remembering something that is closer to that date. So if you, Kaya, have a memory that is in tandem with the year, like 2002, you could remember that memory and get closer to a room that is temporally in the same era. So
okay.
sort of like thinking it. It's sort of think it and it becomes real.
It's like
So, would the
word association, but with memories and getting us close and narrowing it down, I think.
Exactly.
So,
Okay,
in
I
the
gotcha.
aspect of having to deal with somebody who is much older than any of our characters who could actually have memories of this,
Mm-hmm.
finding like a journal entry or something from the date that we're trying to go to, right?
Yes. Finding
Okay.
something in the memory you're in and using that as a sort of conduit to direct yourself.
Like a paint can, labeled 1987,
Mm.
or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
The paint cans and the journal pages that we've been finding and the letters and all that type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything with the date that can be used.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not.
Question, Iris?
Can we use the phone? The flip phone?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You could try. You could try.
I just imagine a Razor flip phone.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, well, flip phones are really old, even compared to our standards.
Fucking
Mm-hmm.
go into the settings and it's like, okay, it is now 2003. Fucking like console game hacks. Set your console up to midnight so that you get that one quest that only pops at midnight.
Animal
fucking
Crossing
Animal
bullshit.
Crossing Switch discourse all over again.
But
Okay, I think I understand.
yeah, so using objects that have a date attached to them or using like a personal memory of a specific date is the realistically only way to go through from room to room and get somewhere you want to go.
At least if we're going through somebody else's memories.
Correct.
Okay.
And is that a way to remove these memories from your collective, I guess.
No. Once I have collected a memory and transmitted it into data, it is forever within my body.
You just said sometimes memories are tampered with, though.
You may interact or tamper with the memories, but the core memory cannot be changed. Just as you would pick up a book and read it, you will not be able to remove the book from the memory.
Media.
Kai's gonna check her bag.
Yeah, all the paperwork that's been shoved into Kaya's bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Joe!
Joe.
I was waiting for it. I knew he was gonna fuck up at least once. I was waiting for it.
Whoopsie. So you go to check your bag.
I was waiting for it.
The one fucking second I get up to get water because I'm very, very parched.
Oh fuck! I've only ever heard the woman's voice in one tone, and then all of a sudden, it's just like such like a drastic change. Sorry. Continue.
Oh, the papers and books and all the things you've taken from different rooms, you've brought them to different areas, and you go through your bag just quickly, like do a quick spot check. All of the physical representations of them are still there, and just looking through them now, they have all become garbled nonsense.
So, I have had Legacy check the pictures a few times, though. And you've said that they've been there.
Correct. So
she took those herself. Papers and the books were just taken from them.
the things that Legacy made are her memories of data that she has witnessed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kaya doesn't know what's on the pages, so how could she know?
Well, I assume she looked at them.
You looked at them, but you didn't read the whole book.
No, but she read. Did she see the parts that she did read? Because she did read a good chunk of it.
Yes, yeah, I would. It's like most of the book is garbled nonsense, but the pages that there are some of the pages you remember reading which are still there. But I was assuming that Kaya obviously didn't read an entire notebook worth of information. So there's going to be a majority of it that is just garbled nonsense, and then there's the parts that you remember very distinctly, like, oh, I read this part, but all of this is now just nothing.
She definitely read at least a few pages. Not a whole book, unfortunately. There's no time.
I'm just wondering if it's essentially having the papers, some words are filled in, maybe most of a paragraph, couple blanks and whatnot. Kind of like remembering that hotel hell happened, but we don't remember every single dialogue.
Exactly.
All of the dialogue that happened there.
It is exactly that.
Okay. She just says take out the fucking books and papers, and he's like, all right, good news. We still got all the papers and books. Bad news, most of it's bullshit. It's gonna show all the stuff.
Marcus comes over and looks at it and just like, oh, well, but everything you grabbed is still good, pointing to Legacy.
She'll pull up the pictures again.
The pictures are all still intact.
I have the pictures. I mean, fucking not having paperwork about chemical genocide is not great. Picture's not gonna do much.
The data you have collected from the memories is your own to keep, though you cannot take with you the physical memory which you did not make for yourself.
But, okay. Nanites cannot make physical paper that I can carry around. Got it. Understood. Perfectly fine. It's not fine, but it's perfectly fine.
I mean, technically,
But,
it could go back. Fuck me. Alright, fine. But I could fucking talk for once.
if it's all data, that means you can be all of this is just like wild arm flinging around. Goes down to digital information, right? She just turns back to the picture.
Correct.
So all of this, and all the words, and all the books, and all the papers can be condensed down into something that could just be read on a fucking computer.
Correct.
You see this, like, small light of victory, and then the second, like, 2 seconds go by, and gremlin mode activate. And turns towards everybody else. If this place has the memories of Joseph Diego and fucking OG Bengetti or whatever the fuck he was, that means all of their research, all of their data, everything could theoretically be found here and placed on a fucking hard drive.
That would be enough to just toilet all of Tetsuo then. Right? Like,
And
you're talking
more.
about like the Hack Project stuff and all the fucking illegal acquisitions and all of their stuff in the corporate wars probably and everything.
Anything they laid their eyes on. Which, considering the control freak Joseph Diego is, and considering the little... If OG Bengetti is anything like the little nerd that we have shoved in the basement... Yes. And then some.
Lockhart, you were saying something?
I was just thinking, though, wasn't the whole point that there wasn't enough space to put all this information?
There is on Earth.
Correct. Earth has the centrifuge for all information, or not centrifuge, nexus, I think is a more appropriate word. Earth has like a memory storage device on it, the Horde. But the Witness is not the sum total of all information.
Mhm.
It is a cumulative collection of memories transmitted into data.
So, just for example, me and my job, I go through thousands of pages of research every day. So I don't know all of the like laboratory notebooks that go into the final report, but my eyes have landed on every single page of the final report. So if like my brain was plugged into Witness, even though I didn't read the whole paper, there could technically be enough recorded from what I remember of the pages of the final report. And that's far less actual data to be stored than the, like, 3 years worth of research and laboratory manuals and notebooks.
It's also worth noting that Witness is a nanite swarm. It is a massive, massive collection of nanotechnology, like little tiny things that make up a swarm. To get an actual size of what its full physical form would be is difficult because you don't know where all of it is.
But it functions like a hive mind in kind of a way, which just means that, like, it's 1,000 mini processors.
Correct. That is exactly it. It is in a bunch of different locations, absorbing a bunch of different memories from however many people it has its hands on. Or rather, however many people it is currently piggybacking on. Let me see. I want to make somebody roll. I'll make say everyone can roll a clever check. Kai included.
Only the ones in that group.
Yes, only the ones who have heard this
Okay.
immediate bit of information.
Unfortunately, I have nothing that could possibly help with this.
You could boost it.
That's true, I could. Fuck it.
Is this clever check dealing with corporations and in particular Tetsuo?
No, this is dealing with however oh my god, dreamers. There it is.
Oh. Wait, what is this check for? Is this
The
about
best
the
and
witness?
worst.
This is a general clever check about dreamer knowledge that to see if you or your character would remember something.
Okay.
Before I roll, can I potentially make a deal with you, Joe?
Mm-hmm. I am potentially listening.
So, I know I'm going to have a lot of questions after session.
Mm-hmm.
But my mind is coming up blank currently.
Okay.
Could, for this session, and potentially next session if you are willing, could I give up all of my prep to get a couple questions, if I think of it, that I could potentially ask the witness, if I think of it after session?
That's hard because I don't know if you guys will be around the witness in the next couple sessions. I will.
I'm saying a little retroactively, essentially.
Okay.
She gives up all of her prep for today, like it being like worth like 3 or 4 questions.
Yeah.
In this scene.
For when her conspiracy brain comes online.
Yes.
3 hours after session.
Yeah.
I will. And you're giving up your prep for this session and next session to do this?
I would give it up for sure this session, but if I must, I will give up prep for next session as well. Because this is important to me.
That's a lot of fucking prep.
Because you, one, offered, and two, haven't used any prep this session, I will give you the opportunity to ask your questions. How about this? I'll say you can ask one question per 2 prep, and you can spend it as though you had prep from now and next session.
Okay, yeah, deal. Okay, so just a straight clever check. Got it.
Yes. So 13, 16. Good work, Kaya. Good work rolling a 4 and a 3 and a 6. Oof. So, Lockhart, you're a little overwhelmed with the fact that this thing is continuously talking about Ben-Gedi as though he was like in tandem doing all of this with Joseph Diego, and it's a little hard to process because you've known Ben-Gedi for however many years at Tetsuo, and the math doesn't check out. This does not jive, and your brain is a little short-circuited. Kaya, or rather for Legacy, you remember that as Witness is talking, you're kind of putting together like, okay, Witness is some cloud of nanite shit that like jumps onto people, gets inside of their head, and starts copying information or copying memories down and encoding it as information to be stored. And it seems to be acting as some sort of hive mind, which intuitively to you means that this thing must be all over the station. It could be, at least. It could be anywhere on the station. Anyone who's come into contact with it, who has it in their body, could be right now like live feeding memories into it. And Kaya, you remember one of the things that had been uncovered a while ago was the multiple sightings of dreamers. And there was one in particular, quote unquote, sighting that was a dreamer which appeared in multiple different wards across the station in rapid succession. And you're getting the impression that it's probably Witness because of the fact that Witness doesn't have a physical manifestation in the same way that Observer does, where Observer is a big, like, oblong-shaped thing. Witness is a nearly invisible cloud that more or less just jumps onto your brain. And you could imagine somebody going through their day-to-day life having memories copied out of their head, having like micro trips or something. Or maybe there are houses like this one all over the station. Local areas where there are heavier concentrations of this nanite swarm or whatever that induce some kind of hallucinogenic brain trip.
Huh. Things starting to make sense. And honestly, I find the fact that Kaya realizes this very entertaining because, like, it's a very entirely different thing. However, the concept is the same. She built Larry with swarm mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine it'd be really easy for her to pick this up.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, okay, that fucking explains that one.
Oh, that brings an entirely new set of questions.
Yeah, no teleporting dreamer, just witnessing all of this. That was a while ago. How many times have you died since then? You probably don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Can you repeat the first part of your question for me?
She's thinking of like, yeah, okay, so that was you when all these reports were coming along or fucking popping up. He's like, that was a while ago. How many times have you died since then?
You ask that question, turn towards the painting, and there is a long pause, and there is no response from the witness.
God damn it, because I just had a new line of questions. Because if this is a shared fucking hallucination, then Larry is having a shared hallucination with us.
Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
What?
God damn it.
There is amongst the room, like, palpable silence that falls over everything. Where before there was a kind of heavy with presence feeling, there is now only each other. Larry floats over to the painting. Now, so Kaya, you actually notice now that Larry is floating as though everything is normal.
Where he was having to stick to our arms before.
Yeah.
Correct. But he floats over to the painting, to the canvas, and will put a single little manipulator on it. And there's just nothing, just the sound of his little manipulator touching the surface of the canvas, kind of scratching it. And Larry just frowns at it and then turns around and just goes, I think he died.
Well, shit.
Where do we go now?
Well, I kind of want to find the others. So we can all group up and then, well, we know how to at least try to navigate this fucking place.
If there's even the remotest chance we can find what we need to find here, and I don't know, I will fucking wipe everything that I have if I need to. To save that data.
Cosmic looks around the room and puts a hand to his chin and just kind of rubs his chin and will walk over to the door, which has been closed. He holsters his handgun and puts a hand on the doorknob, and there's this concentrated pause as he remembers something. And there is a not like a movement that you can feel beneath your feet, but the feeling that you get when you're in an elevator after it starts moving, where you don't necessarily feel like you're going up or down, but there is like a sensation of movement, but not one that you can easily perceive. You all have that sort of feeling for just a moment, and then he turns the knob and pushes the door open. Behind you, Media and Talmay and Cassidy, from where you were, which was here, a door opens, but it's only fair that we give you the opportunity to talk to Observer. So we'll rewind the clock a little bit. As Cosmic will reunite the groups. Media and Cassidy and Talmay, you are all standing in this room that has been... It was initially a clock with a door, but now it is basically just an eye, a vertical eye that has more or less just stared at you. And there is a very, very intense feeling of being watched. I hope you were paying attention because now it's your turn.
Good
This
old
thing-
commune with machine.
This thing just regards you. You are going to commune with the machine?
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to read that ability again because I forgot all of the details. Let me see. Okay. Go ahead and make the cool check for me, please.
I have a specialty in Observer.
That would apply here. It would be remiss of me to not let it apply here. Okay. With a 12, you do succeed. So what specifically do you touch? In this, you're kind of standing in this weird, it's not even like a entire like sensible room. It's more or less just like a box with an eye on one wall, and you are enclosed in with it.
Like the frame of the clock.
Gotcha. So you like reach forward. The clock itself is kind of partly subsumed in the eye of the room. But you reach over and touch the edge of the frame, and as you touch it, there is just this like assault of almost just raw data. Dispassionate knowledge that is just it being jettisoned into your brain. You would be able to know and recite basically a complete history of any specific location you wanted if you could stop to take a breath. But it is just an absolute tidal wave of stuff. that hits your brain all at once. And this is including knowledge of the recent history, of contemporary happenings, things that transpired within the past year, within the past few months, or even the past month just recently. There is a wellspring of knowledge that jumps forth. And what are your questions?
I don't know yet. I just know I wanted to do it.
Okay.
Because I can ask the DM 3 yes or no questions about this specific piece of technology. So gather up, guys. Roundtable discussion.
If there's anything you'd like to do, Cassidy, as you stare into the face of this thing that is walking straight out of a science, like a sci-fi made-for-TV movie.
Yeah.
It gives you the impression of something that is very vast. It is almost like staring out. It is like standing on the shore of a beach and looking out into the ocean. It's not aggressive or ruthless or evil or villainous. It is totally impartial. And it is vast.
I mean, she's kind of gonna be like frozen and follow Media's lead.
Mm-hmm.
I do have my first question because it pertains to what everybody else has been asking.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the real, genuine observer?
So Observer, or at least this incarnation of Observer, it speaks to you less in a language and more in a feeling, as you are just it's almost as if you knew the answer to your question the moment that you thought of it and asked it. The second it was verbalized and solidified in your mind, no, this is not the observer. It is just a figment that is reminiscent of the observer.
Okay, I kind of figured, but I still wanted to ask just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, roundtable discussion. I got 2 more yes or no questions that I can ask about it. Give me ideas.
For the sake of ease, I could say that Cosmic opens the door right at this moment.
Well, after my questions, I do have a shenanigan I would like to attempt. But I want to ask the questions
fair
first.
enough. Fair enough.
Sorry, I was stepped away for a minute. So, what? Just yes or no questions?
Any 2 yes or no questions pertaining to Observer.
Pertaining to Observer.
Any questions?
I have none questions left. Beef. Ask someone else, please.
Oh boy.
Questions I have aren't yes or no.
I have the questions. I know I can work them into yes or no. I just need a second to figure out how to phrase them.
Okay.
I will permit you to do your shenaniganery before asking the questions, if you like.
It may also
For
be...
my shenaniganeries, I can use the second portion of Commune with Machine to make it do something for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to download information, like the complete Hex Project information from it, just into my brain.
So
I know that
will give
side,
you-
Joe.
I will give you two things. I can give you a brief synopsis of the Hex Project, where you will know how it started, how it developed, and where it is now.
Okay.
Or I could give you so the gist of it is there is a lot of information involved in it. It's sort of like asking, like, give me the entire database of everything that is the United States. Like, you'd get all of US history, all of US politics, all of US international relations. You'd get everything about every state, every jurisdiction, every county line. Like, you'd get a too big amount of information.
Your brain would fry.
That's so your brain would kind of fry, because part of the Hex Project involves some of what created Dreamers. But I'm willing to give you a bunch of information about the Hex Project. So I will give you like a synopsis of it, or I will give you bits and pieces of information that you are looking for specifically to kind of round out everything that you know, because I want to treat your request fairly. But like, you won't have like a full transcript of everything that was said in every interview, as well as like everything that is like.
That is fair.
Okay.
I did say it was shenanigan.
That's fair. That's fair. It's a good shenanigan. I respect the hustle.
Real respect, real.
Piper, as a conspiracy theorist, I thank you for the shenaniganry.
Okay, so do we want the
I will
synopsis,
let
or do we
you-
want the?
I will say you can get like a generalized synopsis, like a general overview of the project and what its intent was and how it turned out as it currently stands. Or I will let you ask me like I want to just say a few, but I feel
bunch
like
of clarifying questions.
yeah, I will let you ask a series of clarifying questions, maybe like 5 or 6 clarifying questions that you are very specifically looking for. Because if I give you the synopsis, you are going to run into stuff that you probably already knew or assumed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so clarifying questions.
See, I really want to know how shit got started, though, because I feel like that's important.
That could be one of your questions.
So, Joe, question here.
Mhm.
That is not tied to this, but is kind of. These are Piper's questions, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you going to DM Piper the questions you have?
No, I'll be fair. But I just wanted to make sure before
I
I got my
will-
hopes up.
I will permit peanut gallerying for the sake of
I do
being
need
fair.
it. I do need
I have no idea, so someone
Yeah.
help.
We just
Yeah.
gave the like key to unlock one of the fucking filing cabinets to Piper,
Yep.
who is not the conspiracy brain of the group.
I will respect the need to be like, one person, I know a way that I can get some information, but I don't know where the fuck to even start looking for it. Between all of you, there is one player, one person, a hypothetical person who knows both the questions to ask and how to get the answer.
Look, I am the note taker. My job is in my title.
That person, that hypothetical person, is also the person who has been taking notes the whole time. They've been taking notes. They also know how to put all of the puzzle pieces together. So
It takes
yeah.
much brain power to take notes and pay attention enough to play a character.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
I
hey,
think
hey,
a
hey.
good
No.
baseline to start off with is
That's not yes or
what
no.
is the current state of the Hex project? Where is it at right now?
Okay, so reaching into the mind of Observer, the current state of the Hex project is it is currently a marked success. The Hex project allows someone to take their current conscious mind, lift it from a current vessel, whether it be digital or, for lack of a better term, fleshy, and transpose it into a new container. That is exactly what the Hex project has achieved and currently is able to do.
Okay.
How did it get started? That it has to be. We have to understand the origin of this.
Okay. How did it get started? Yeah.
The Hex project began in, let me get the specific year. The Hex project began work in 1987. It was the work of two recent college-age students, Johann Ben-Getty and Joseph Diego. The intent was initially to create a method of quantifying human consciousness, to create something that could effectively measure what it means to be conscious. The evolution of that train of thought led to the Hex project as a direct result of Joseph Diego's personal whims.
I kind of want to know how the Observer was created.
Well, we don't know 100% if the Observer is connected to the Hex project. We know all the Dreamers are connected to Joseph Diego somehow, but not necessarily the Hex project.
True.
How
However,
many? How many?
even- Yeah. Gone. Sorry.
How many fucking clones or whatever copies are floating around right now? Or like brains that are like the fucking, not necessarily clones, but like, so we know that they're like a clone of Johann. So like that's one, even if there are multiple clones of Johann.
Lindis.
Mm-hmm. So I will defer to Piper for the final wording, but my understanding is how many clones specifically of Johann are currently like up, how many clones, including like consciousness, right? Clones of body and consciousness.
That's no, not specifically of Johann.
How many are total? Like how many replicants are out there right now?
Or originals are there replicants of, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want not just Johann, you want everyone.
Yeah. So you know, if it's just like Johann, Joseph, Diego, and like Lindis, or if there's like another 15 people that also are like just fucking putting their brains in things.
And who are they?
I'll count that as 2.
Damn.
I'll count that as 2. I will give you a number, and I will give you the names of everyone there is walking around. Okay. So there are. Let me actually count because I need to make sure that I get this number right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And if you have it typed up, you might just want to copy paste the list of names for Amy.
You do.
The names is actually very easy. The names there are. So I will tell you there are fewer names than there are copies.
Okay, cool.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Is that the final
I
number?
think. Yes.
Okay.
And
Yes.
clarifying, just so I'm understanding, this isn't like there's 2 of one person, 2 of another person, 3 of another person. This is individual people.
I will specify in the notes there are 8 independent, there are 8 distinct copies that are currently around, that are currently in a state that could be either alive and walking around or could be conscious in some way. There are exactly 8.
How many more questions do I have?
Well, we didn't get the answer to the second question yet.
This I will give you 2 or 3 more depending on what you ask.
Okay.
But let me write down this list here. So we have oh, you know what? This would be in there. Yeah, I can't shy around it. You get this information now.
Oh boy.
There's
Oh
that
my god,
one.
I'm so excited.
As I lean
There's-
closer to my computer.
It's the fucking Leonardo
Oh my God.
DiCaprio meme.
I just forgot the main Joseph Diego. Okay, I was panicking for a second. I was like, I forgot the fucking main dude's name.
Congratulations, you forgot your own supervillain.
He's the only person we say the full name of.
3, 4, 5,
That's
6.
true.
Listen, there are
7.
too many Josephs in my life to not be specific.
That's also true. Amy needs the full name.
The friend Joe. I got the husband Joe. I got the brother-in-law Joe. My mother-in-law is named Joanne. Too many.
Let's see. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's 8. So the list of people is thus: you have Johann Ben-Gedi, the one that you know, who is your ally. Yes, your Ben-Gedi is technically a clone as a result of the Hex Project.
Mhm.
You have Lindis, who was recreated as a result of the Hex Project. You have Red, who is, and listen, this is probably my favorite bit. Red is an altered form of Ben-Gedi that has been stripped down to bare firing neurons and brainstem. But it is technically a Hex Project version of Johann Ben-Gedi.
Oh boy.
There are 2 more individuals and 5 more bodies. Joseph Diego, one of which you are in possession of. That would be 0, Joseph Diego.
The brain.
The brain.
Yeah.
There are 3 additional copies of Joseph Diego from various points in time. And there is a 5th quote-unquote copy that is currently active. That is the most recently active. It is a hybrid form of Johann and Joseph Diego.
I knew it.
And it is called Jonathan. This is the list. So, as this information is being transmitted into your brain, visually you see images of different Joseph Diegos. And you are getting the information of the Hex Project in flashes of memories of from people who are like two dudes in a lab, like fucking around with science equipment, wearing lab coats and collared shirts, and like they have like the what's it called? Bill Nye the Science Guy bow tie kind of attire, and they're just trying to achieve something. It is two people who are doggedly chasing down a path of scientific inquiry that has never before been reached, and their aspirations are high and their expectations are low, but they have hope, and they are doing this together. It is a unified endeavor between Johann and Joseph. As they progress, as you get more and more information, you see the slow change as these two people grow closer together, as they are pitched through the frustration and politics that come with this, in some ways, dubious experimentation that requires a lot of ethics board critiques. Testing some of the things they have wanted to test require a lot of finagling, and you see all of this finagling. You don't get all of the details of it, but you see that it happened. And at a certain point, it eventually comes back around to where it's just them testing again and again and again, and their project gets more funding and it starts to evolve and grow in scope. As time goes on, you see that these two have aged significantly, like both getting to that like late 40s kind of flecks of gray in the hair, and you see flashes of them making the first successful copy of something small. And I say something small in terms of the actual capacity, where they have this massive, elaborate machine that looks suspiciously like the full dive machine. This massive, elaborate machine that requires a lot of like temperamental care, and it outputs a lot of heat and is very dangerous looking, but it allows you to extract parts of your consciousness and either duplicate it or like basically copy it or cut it and then paste it. And the first thing they successfully both copied and cut and pasted was a memory of Joseph Diego and Johann sharing a drink at a bar. Like something small. They took their favorite bar, a memory that they both shared together, and that was their first successful test. They had tested it on Joseph Diego. You then see just flashes into the future of, like far into the future, like images of Lindis and the interaction with that. What they had done was taken what remained of her mind and reconstituted it. They created a new mind and created information or created memories from data they had. And they were able to build a person they wanted. And they made a Lindis. One that they liked. Who wouldn't betray them. Who was more than happy to let Tetsuo sponsor her. And more than happy to more or less kind of serve at the beck and call of Joseph Diego in for full disclosure, not the gross way, in just like a normal, like, this is just Joseph Diego being an egomaniac kind of way. But the dark turn of the Hex Project, where you see Joseph Diego using this to create ways for him to extend his own life, to take his own mind, copy it, create backups of it, create other versions of himself that were like conscious, cognitive, and able to be awake, and stored them like canned food just in case something went wrong. To that end, you also see Joseph Diego very recently, after having been killed, the only thing of Joseph Diego that currently exists are brains, are consciousness, like these things that would be him if they had a physical form to take. But the only physical forms that were most accessible were ones that were Johann Ben-Geddy. There are almost like Bacta tanks or tubes, areas that are like pods where these surrogate bodies are grown and fostered and kept in storage to allow specifically Joseph Diego to continue indefinitely. There's a distinct gap between a certain period of time, but you know that of all of the active ones, the most recent active one is a spare Joseph Diego brain that would be a couple years out of like sync, like taking someone from the year 2070 and teleporting them to the current day. It would be like someone who had been skipped forward in time. So they took a Joseph Diego who was not present for the last 10 to 15 years and stuck him in the only available body that was there. A partially grown, incomplete version of Johann Ben-Geddy, which was fitted with cybernetics to round out some of the missing pieces.
And that's our Ben-Geddy.
That is not your Ben-Geddy.
That's Jonathan.
Okay.
That is Jonathan.
Okay.
I should put it in quotes, but because this is that is the only time, that is the current mixing of a brain that is in a different body.
But aside from... Go ahead.
Aside from... No, you go ahead.
I was about to say, aside from our Ben-Geddy and the pseudo-clone that is red, we've not been given any indication that there is a fully formed Ben-Geddy in existence. Like
Correct.
OG Ben-Geddy.
Correct. As far as you can tell, there is no original, like you saw in that old school Polaroid style photo. There is no Ben-Geddy that resembles anything like that picture, would have you believe.
So you said there's a place where they're growing bodies?
Correct.
I would like those locations, please.
We technically already know.
We do?
Yeah, the
the Tetsuo lab?
in Turing, I believe.
Oh.
Do you want me to answer that question? Or do you want to hold that question?
Do I want that question answered, group?
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
I have the answer here.
Okay.
Well, there's
It
there,
sounds
we
like Iris has the answer. So,
we still have 2 more yes or no questions that are separate from this.
Yeah.
And
But those have to be pertained to Observer.
yeah,
Mhm.
but with the observer one, I was thinking because of how observer was interacting, of maybe the question of like, does it want to or intends to harm people when interacting with them?
That is a question. Another question I was considering to use my yes or no on was it made as part of the Hex project? Because if the answer to that is yes, I could use one of my remaining questions to ask how the Dreamers are created. If that was. So, regardless, I do want to ask if the Observer is, in fact, created as part of the Hex project.
It was. Oh, sorry.
So
A part of or
So-
adjacent to.
Yeah.
gotcha. So that is one of your yes or no questions.
That is
so
one of my
will
yes or
be-
no. Yeah.
So
What was the question?
Is the observer created as a part of or adjacent to the Hex project?
yes.
It was.
More accurately, you would get that the observer was created as a byproduct of the Hex project.
So it wasn't
I-
intentionally created in the same way like the Witness is. Witness was kind of intentionally created in some ways for the information.
It was created in the same way the Witness was, where it was designed for it. There was something that grew into Observer that was created.
Mm.
And they used that to facilitate the Hex project. And it became Observer.
So it probably wouldn't be a good question to ask how the Dreamers are formed then, right?
No. Because a lot of it's... What I am gathering from all of this is that a lot of it's... They are created as machine or program or something that
Yeah.
through various means, kind of like Larry, just went way beyond the intentions of the creators.
And that much was also said in the book that Kaya found too,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and also Joseph Diego said that himself.
Because, like, so,
Okay.
like, we know that they've been created through, like, adjacent to this process now, like, officially, but it's, like, none of them
Okay.
were, like, intentionally made. So there's not a point in figuring out how they were made, necessarily.
In regards to if the Observer is willing to harm, media knows that all it cares about is obtaining knowledge.
Correct. The Observer media, you would know that the Observer has no overt, like, maliciousness
Yeah.
in anything it does.
That's not good
Yeah.
that's not good for Legacy to know, because I already know exactly what Legacy's gonna do next time she comes across this fucking Observer.
Is it Red Bull Can?
Nope, not Red Bull can. It's like finger out, shaking in front of its vague face. No! Listen. Down.
Oh, we got 2 more questions pertaining to the Hex project.
And one more
And
yes or
one
no.
more yes or no.
Mhm.
I want to ask how we can shut the project down or put a permanent end to it. I don't know if it's a good idea, but that would give us an objective.
Or alternatively, where we can find most of the information. Like, specifically where we can find most of the information.
And how to obtain it.
Mm-hmm. But that would be 2 questions right there.
Well, no, we could just reward it. How can how or what is the process we can do to obtain more information about the Hex Project? How's that?
I
How would go through the steps, the
Depends on how
meanings.
tricky Joe wants to be.
That's pretty vague.
Hmm.
I will do my best to not be like unfairly vague. My initial thought when I hear like what are the processes that would have to be taken to make the Hex Project not a thing anymore, to me it's like there's not a big off switch.
Hmm.
But there are areas that are super incredibly important, like linchpin success or like linchpin areas that if you were to disable or destroy or deactivate, the Hex Project would not be able to exist. It would just fall apart. I could give you I could give you those, unless you were looking for not like locations or things. But that's what my mind immediately goes to.
Yeah. Is that a good thing to request? I think it is.
If Joe gives us linchpins, then yeah, it'll work.
Okay. I would like those, please.
Okay, so what are the linchpins to like make the Hex
Failure?
Project? Yeah, the point of failure for the Hex Project.
The point
Like,
of failure, like what are
needs to-
what are the gears
Yeah.
in it?
Mhm.
How can we make the Hex Project roll death saves?
Yeah. That's okay. Okay. So there are a handful of things that are required to make the Hex Project to make the Hex like process function. First, you need a place to put the information, because there is an intermediary step of taking it from one place, holding onto it, and then dropping it into a new vessel. So you need the Hex Project is predicated on that middle step of being able to hold the information you extract.
Hold a brain.
Yeah, basically. There is a device that is a mix of a storage device that basically is what you would call like the Hex machine that exists. If you destroy that machine, there is no more way to do that at the moment. If you wanted to prevent the Hex Project from coming to fruition after that, the only people who know how it works 100% in and out, left and right, top to bottom, are Joseph Diego and Johann Ben Getty. They are the only ones who know the entire part of the process. So you would have to deal with them. And I will leave it at that.
Better fucking leave it at that.
Time to go stabbing some brains.
Okay, we have one more question. One final question.
And one more yes or no.
And one more yes or no.
Sorry, I forgot one thing. The documentation for the Hex Project, there are 2 locations where all the documentation is stored. Any documentation not intimately known by the 2 creators is going to be in the office of Joseph Diego, inside Voyager, within Tetsuo headquarters, and all of the laboratory paperwork within the experimental laboratory.
In Turing.
In Turing.
Totally not Joe trying to get us to
Go
heist
raid
Tetsuo.
Tesco.
Yeah.
He's made it very clear he wants that.
Well, he just gave us 2 raid spots, so
He's talked about both raiding on Tetsuo and the lab, so I think this is just both. I think he wants both.
Yep. Oh, we know he wants both.
I can hear Joe just grinning right now.
Yep.
Shut up.
We know you too well, motherfucker. We can hear it.
One more yes or no. One more.
X project.
Make them count.
Man, right? Just gonna.
Get some ice water, soak them for a minute or two. Maybe take a break.
I have a yes or no question about the observer itself.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to find it again, would I be able to share / trade information with it again?
That was the most frustrated sigh I have heard from Joe in a very long time.
There goes that grin.
I don't want to be blamed for the longevity of any of your characters, but I will tell you, if that is your question, the answer is yes. There is a way for you to share and process information together with the observer.
Bye, media. It was nice knowing you.
Yeah,
Come
goodbye,
on.
guys.
Come on with that 4th character.
Yep, love to talk about that.
You can't keep getting away with it. So, you have one question about the Hex project.
You know what? We need to take a 5-minute water break here.
Fair enough.
All right, fine. I will give you guys until 10 p.m. my time. You can have water and time to pontificate over the questions that you may want to ask.
Hi, Joe.
Give Amy a chance to rest her hands for a second.
Yeah, just so
I'm gonna
you don't
go
get
stretch.
carpal tunnel. Iris,
I'll be
is your
back.
question for me? Why
No.
God? Why would you do this to Ben Getty?
Well, I mean, yes, but no, that's not the question.
Mhm.
I don't know if it would count though. That's the thing. So,
You can ask it. I can just choose to not answer it.
well, no, I mean it's like,
Ooh.
oh yeah, waste our only last question. Okay.
No, I won't let it count. You can ask your question and just pose it, just so I can think about it because I'm very curious.
I don't think we would gain anything with this knowledge, but I'm curious if the observer would know what happened to the original Ben Getty.
Yeah, that's the same thing I was thinking, because we have
Yeah.
clone bodies of Ben Getty, but there's only 2, one heavily, actually both of them altered in fairly significant ways, and seemingly no original brain.
Yeah.
At least not that is active.
I will tell you there is no original copy of where the in this list I have Joseph Diego listed multiple times because there are multiple standing copies of his consciousness that are not identical or that are mostly identical, if not identical, to Joseph Diego from a specific point in time. There is not a version of those for Ben Getty.
So either there had to have been something that happened to cause Bengeti to not be replicated in a full way, and is part of the reason why I'm assuming Joseph Diego was after our Bengeti, because it's the most complete brain that he has.
Yeah.
Still altered, but more than functioning. So I guess our Bengeti is the closest to original Bengeti that we're gonna get. Somehow I feel like with
brain.
somehow I feel like our Bengeti would find some weird twisted satisfaction in that. Tell me I'm wrong.
That's funny. I didn't think about that. Like, the idea of telling the Bengeti you currently have, like, hey, so you're the closest thing we have to, like, the OG version of yourself or whatever. At least that's what we think. Just, like, the weird, smug satisfaction he would have about being like, yeah, I'm the original. That's right. That's so fucking bizarre.
There is a question I would like to ask personally, because I can use my knowing. It would like to know as well. How can I safely interact with Observer again?
That's a good question. So, you can safely interact with how can you safely interact with Observer?
Mayhaps wait till Amy is back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is a question that I would like to be selfish on with my knowing ability.
That's a good question.
That part of that, but that's a separate thing from this last
Correct.
text. Okay.
Yeah, that's
a separate ability
I have. Yeah.
I heard my name from across the room. What's up?
No, you're fine. We were just talking and
You're
saying
fine.
we needed to, like, wait to do something. Oh, good God, somebody's mad.
Val?
Well,
Are you okay? He, like, ran into my room and hid behind my door.
Is there a dog outside?
He's hungry.
I bet there's a dog outside.
And now he's, like, his face is in the corner between the door and the wall, and his tail's flicking. I think he might have found something.
Did he find a friend?
Did he find a ghost?
I wish it were a ghost.
Cockroach.
I just want you all to appreciate what the fucking note page for this session looks like.
Sorry, Amy.
Amy, I will give you a free boost on just the next roll you want. So if you just note that down somewhere, free boost because you are king, queen, monarch of note taking.
I'm putting my end of session thing early so I can write this down.
Mm-hmm.
Also, sorry that Legacy was, like, being a little rude over there with the witness, but fucking gremlin conspiracy mode activate.
Oh no, this witness is impartial. Marcus was a little wounded, but that's, what else is new?
Z, because Joe gave me flashbacks, not just data information, but flashbacks, I do now have the keys to all of those places and memories and times.
Well, you're gonna have to communicate that there was flashbacks for Legacy to know that. Because she's going after some data.
Oh, damn it. I remember a question I had from a long time ago. Fuck.
Okay.
What was it?
Well, I don't think it really means much, but, like, Z keeps saying that Joseph Diego had a daughter, but in the notes it said he had a son. Did he have both? Or is that just
Or is that a typo?
translation?
It might be a typo. It might be a misspeak on one of our parts. I will tell you that he had only one child.
Okay. That's what I thought. That's why I'm like,
Mhm.
am I? Wah! Fucking cat. Sorry.
Oh no.
Oh
That was
no.
losing it. But it is 10:01.
Mm.
It is
So
time
if
to
you're
choose.
clarification then, simply because they only had one, is it supposed to be daughter or son?
It's supposed to be a son, but yeah, it's supposed to be a son. But I
Okay.
was going with daughter because I was just like I didn't want to stop to like make clear whatever because to Joseph Diego, well, he didn't have the most affection for children.
Offspring.
Clearly. Okay. I don't know. I guess it was because it looked like fucking Ring Girl. I was like, that's. I think you. I want to say that you said daughter in the picture, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Possible.
Jesus.
I may have fucked up. It's possible.
Piper,
I
go
know
save your
lately
roommate.
It was daughter.
Hmm?
I'm pretty sure I
Eric,
just
you
heard
okay?
thunk against something.
Val just bonked his head and charged straight into my lap, like at like Mach speed. I think he's got the zoomies.
Oh boy.
Like, I don't know if he's chasing something or not though, because he's acting like he's chasing something.
No, nothing came into my bed, and he just charged onto my mattress. I think he just has the zoomies.
Val's having a good time.
Did you give Val catnip recently?
No, he did not.
No.
Val, come here.
Did Val find catnip?
How?
I'd be very confused.
We don't
if
have
you don't
catnip.
have catnip.
Wait.
What?
Wait. The treats we got from the office.
Do you think
Did
he
he-
got into the treats from the office? You want me to go check?
I mean, could you? Because I don't know where you put them.
That would be like, I kept them in a metal basket on top of a counter on top of the kitchen. So if he like that shit's impressive. He deserves those treats.
Secretly have a high ass cat.
Oh, the thing is over.
It's
The treats are
Or-
safely confined.
okay.
Oh. Look, does Val just think that he got high? So he's acting like this?
Holy shit!
He's sick of your shit.
Whoa, I'm totally feeling it, man.
Screaming.
Like I'm hearing Val through the
Snickers.
headset.
Maybe she'll
like,
feel.
is he okay?
I don't know. I just gave him some food. Maybe he'll eat a Snickers.
So,
Sorry.
no, you're good.
One final hex project question.
hmm
And then Piper's knowing question.
hmm
I would like to clarify to the. My question was, honestly, I didn't think fully tied to that project. I was just wondering what happened to the original Bengetti in general. Like, what was his fate?
Mm.
Because he's not around, right?
If we don't have a specific question, I'm gonna ask about the whereabouts of Mr. Jonathan Bengetti.
That would
I'm
also
just
be a
here
good one.
thinking, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, how the fuck did they just fire him?
Yeah, so I think the questions that we are down to is either the where is Jonathan
Mhm.
or what happened to the original Bengetti?
Okay.
Votes. One or two.
Votes for where is Jonathan?
Yo.
1.
don't know.
Votes for what happened to the original Ben Getty.
Is that a yes, Cody?
I think so, yes.
1,
Yeah, same. Because, like, I
Two.
feel like we're going to run into Jonathan whether we want to or not.
Especially if
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going after the linchpin places.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you've heard the crowd.
So the question is, what happened to the original Johann Ben Getty?
Mm-hmm.
The original Johann Ben Getty was killed.
Knew that.
He was killed in content warning.
Oh
He
boy.
killed himself and in the process damaged his own brain.
Ah. When?
He killed himself in 2005.
So that's a long ass time in the timeline of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I would still very much be in not beginning stages, but early Hex Project days.
Are there any details on it in the information? Like, why did he do it? Did he leave anything, etc.?
In the information that Observer would know, no. The only thing that Observer would know, or rather, this is not the original Observer, mind you. This is a shadow of the Observer as Witness is made aware of him. So, or of them. So, as far as Observer as a part of Witness is aware of, it is unknown as to why he did this. The only thing that you are able to glean from it is that there were some... I'm trying to think of how to word it. Conflicts of conscience. Things that disagreed with him personally, and he could not, in good faith, abide by. So much so that he would rather die than be a part of it.
Okay. Oh, hi, Cosmic. How'd you get here?
Well, don't forget to ask your knowing question.
And your knowing question.
And my knowing question, yeah.
Your knowing question, which was, is there a way for you to communicate and glean information from Observer without
Safely.
Safely, yeah. Is there a way for you to safely communicate with Observer? There is a way for you to safely communicate with Observer, with the caveat that the communication will be difficult and you will not be able to freely trade information easily. It will be very much like a conversation.
That's fair.
But yes, there is a way for you to safely communicate with Observer.
How do?
It is more. It would be a lot like your Commune with Machine ability. If you used Commune with Machine on the actual Observer, you would run headlong into a method where you're able to just siphon information and possibly brain fry or talk, which are your two options that you basically had now. So yeah, basically commune with machine will work on observer, and allow you to
Don't make it
communicate
do
with
things,
observer
though.
without getting brain blasted.
Okay.
As long as you don't choose the brain blast option.
Correct. I won't stop you if you do. But, you know, I figured it's only fair if I ask you if you want to do that.
And which question was this? Where was this?
That
Where
was
was
the
this?
use of my knowing ability.
Yes, so that is a different ability.
Ah, okay, so it's separate from the yes or no's and the...
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It is separate from the yes or no's and all of the sub-questions that came from the yes or no's.
Alright, I shall put them in between the yes or no's and the other questions.
And as that information is thrust into your mind in the flash of an instant, and you have a very, very thorough understanding of so much that you did not before, you hear the click of a door from behind you.
That was not there.
And the door was distinctly not there. There was only the door in front of you, which became kind of fused into the wall as a result of the shadow of observer being there. And that door opens. Cosmic, Marcus, Kaya, Legacy, and Lockhart you can all see through the doorway that Cosmic opened. Rather than the place where you had come from, it is an entirely new room that is... It has a lot of eye imagery. And it also has a Talme, a Cassidy, and a Media standing there. Media, who is currently arm outstretched, touching the side of this clock, which is part of this eye that is slowly pressing itself from the impression of the wall.
It's like Legacy at first sees Cosmic open the door, sees like a red room beyond that was not there, and like looks towards Cosmic like, did you just like start chanting Media in your head or some shit?
He looks at you and he just goes, "Oh no, I just tried to remember the lady that I met because I only met her recently, so I figured that would be the easiest way to find them because I figured since she's not here, she must be with the others." He like hooks his thumb over his shoulder to Talme.
Holy shit, you're a fucking genius, Cosmic.
Thanks.
Good job. Pat on the back, not on the head.
Approaches door, sees the eyes, backpedals about 2 steps. How you all wander into the darkness and come into this cursed shit?
I have a blank check for the first person that gets me out of here.
No. See, the thing is, we're gonna have to stay here for a while because there's some shit we need to find here.
Talme also tentatively holds up her hand and just goes, I would also like to leave. I don't know what's happening, but it feels like I am suffering a really bad trip or something, and I did not do drugs. So...
long story short, nanites inside you causing shared mass hallucination. We're all fine, probably just standing in some random abandoned house right now. However, it has access to all of the data that we need.
Yep, done. Got it.
Marcus just blinks and just goes, "Well, got what? Like,
Info. You wanted the info. I got it. All of it. I'm done." Rhett lifts her hand. She puts her hands up into like a clapping suggestion. It's like, "Well, Mr. Observer, I know you're not real, but thank you very much for your assistance."
You know, you kind of need proof for shit. Don't just ignore our questions.
Oh, well, I wanted. You,
Can we go now?
No!
People pulling me to attractions.
Hey, like, hold on. Just chill out, alright? We're all fine, alright? We're not in physical danger.
I downloaded the complete details of the Hex Project.
From what? What did you download it from? Well, I guess everything's like data, but like where?
Points to the clock. The Observer. Silly.
Wait, the Observer's here? No, wait, no, it's not really here. It's the Witness and all that.
And even if I fully believed that, which I'm sure some of it is true, with whatever bullshit you have going on, in order to do what we need to be done, we need proof, A, of it, and B, we're looking for more than just the Hex Project now.
Oh. Maybe it kind of pouts. I thought it was useful for a moment.
Oh, you were. You got some good information. It's awesome. However, we've got, like, what? A nearly... I wouldn't say infinite, but a shit ton of information we have access to if we know where to look.
Of everything that
Another thing,
Joseph,
too.
Diego, and Tetsuo have done over the past 100 years.
Oh, how do we do that?
Think really hard about events that happened around that time.
Oh, sure. I can do that.
What were you saying?
All- All that information was given to me via flashbacks. So I can probably navigate that, if that's the case.
Those two over there don't seem very comfortable, and honestly, I don't like being here longer than I need to.
Yeah, you might want to check up on your blonde friend.
What do you mean?
Well, it pertains to the information I downloaded.
Are you able to... This... I feel like this is a really dumb question, but... I mean, can you, like, print it out or something? Is that doable? Just scratches
Mia
back his
kind of
head.
pauses, like, I did not consider this. I can try. I can, like, interface with a computer.
Media fact shit.
Yeah, can I, like, fact shit? Like,
You could, within reason, probably get some sort of printout to happen, but not from inside the... not from inside this current dream state area you're in.
Oh, she'd be an office menace.
The point I was trying to make is, we know where this house is and we can always come back.
Sure, I can use a drink. Some coffee. What time is it? It might be drinking hours.
Wanting to leave right when we've found a way to get everything that we fucking need.
I'm just
Well,
trying
Well, Cassidy is like super scared, and Tommy's pretty nervous too. So if they want to be involved in this, we shouldn't let them.
Well, you're
Well,
the one
then
that dragged them
invite
with you.
That's a different point. I came for them to meet you, not get involved in reanimated mental spaces and corpses and whatever else.
Like, Marcus waves his hands for a second, just goes, wait. If we know how to kind of navigate around, could we potentially, I don't know, like, leave and return with some sort of storage device? That way we could collect whatever we need?
I would like to
I
attempt
mean,
shenanigans again, Joe.
okay. What are you going to attempt?
I would like to use commune with machine on the nanomachines inside of me.
Oh boy.
I will say, unfortunately, because you cannot actually, like, the nanites that are inside of your body you cannot commune with them in the way that you communicate with the machine that you're able to like perceive and understand.
Okay, that's valid. I was just going to
Yeah.
see if I could use that to like bring us into the space from like remotely was what I was going
It was
to
worth a
intend.
shot. Worth a
was
shot.
I'm going
Again,
to make you
it's
afraid
awful.
of the sentence. I would like to shenanigan, please.
Done. Yep.
Okay, so that.
Well,
Nope.
I don't know if this would make sense. But could we access the nanites through the VR system? Maybe.
Oh, trust me, there's gonna be a whole bunch of fucking around with the nanites now that like Legacy has figured it out. All of the Joe, I hope you realize what you did when you said nanites in front of a hacker.
No.
In front of a hacker and a technological person too. You're not alone in this.
So that
I'm in
we're
danger.
we're gonna figure that out eventually.
I'll be honest here. Once we get all the information shared, like, Lockhart's gonna want to break that fucking VR machine, but
Over
I
Legacy's dead body.
Don't say that can be arranged.
I wasn't going to, but I'm like, how can I word this? She doesn't have to be dead.
You might be strong, but I think
my
you
God.
underestimate the connivingness of Legacy.
Okay.
So
But yeah, the machine, would that be able to access it then? Maybe?
it could be worked to do so.
Okay.
In a theoretical sense, just to give you like a quick answer off the cuff, it could, within reason, be modified to do that.
It's one of those same things of like, could we like scan the brain and shit? Yeah, if we take it off of the hacking. Like we probably one of those situations where we have to like disable what is currently being built for and used for and spend time and effort to swap it over. It's not something that we can do at the same time.
Yeah.
So
we do.
should we withdraw for now? Sorry, Iris.
I was just say, we do technically have the person who worked on it originally.
Yep.
We just don't have the means to get more things to have multiple machines that do multiple things right now.
Yeah, we don't have the resources.
We can always come back to this house.
Like, out of character, I do want to explore the house more, but I also feel like we could do that when everyone's a bit more on the same page.
Yeah.
Yes, like above table, yes, absolutely. I understand what's going on. Unfortunately, Legacy, fucking one-track mind has been triggered. You guys are gonna have to force her out, and she's gonna keep fighting, like straight up.
Okay. Well, we're all gonna leave. She can stay here if she wants to.
But Marcus like waves his hands, is like, no, look. He will twist Legacy around by the shoulders, like spin her around so that she is facing him. And he's just like,
yes, dear.
you want to get and extract all the information from here, right? Fair? Or at least all the information you need to get that is useful, right?
Uh-huh.
So we will need cold hard storage from that, but unless you want to go through and start snapping pictures of every page of every book, we could just go and buy like some scanners and some actual like, well, not you, but media devices, and start, I don't know, coming back here and making digital copies of everything. That way you're not having to kind of, and he pantomimes taking a picture with their phone, everything.
That is with the hope that we are going to be able to actually come back here, and there's not somebody that's going to fucking figure out, because apparently this is all still connected to Tetsuo and Joseph Diego. For all we fucking know, there's a camera that was across the street and knows that we're in here now.
To be fair, these fucking nanites are all over the fucking station. There's concentrations of them in multiple different wards.
There could be other houses.
There could be other houses, and all the reports that were going on, people having little mini trips, probably them coming across a high concentration of them. We could probably make our way back here. Maybe not to this house, but we can find another one.
And plus that you guys are going to need time to process what I have to tell you. Especially the one that's probably going to kill me after this.
Alright, don't fucking tell me shit until I have a drink.
Yep, let's go get a drink.
But, like, it'd be better if we could prepare for it. If we can get a fuck ton of hard drives so we can just load shit onto them.
And as I was saying, though, to say it, we could bring El on here.
Nope, not a good idea.
What? Why not? He's kind of like the wizard smart kid that we have access to, right? So would...
And
Correction, he is a replica of the smart person.
Doesn't change
When you
the
say-
fact that he's smart.
When you say replica, what does that mean? Like clone replica, or like...
I mean, the original one's been dead since 2005.
What the fuck did I just say?
Oh, sorry. He asked.
It's
to
not
be
Marcus,
fair.
that's me.
Sorry, he asked.
Marcus!
What it's...
Don't yell at him.
Look, we already know that's what the whole fucking Hex project is and how it connects to Getty. I don't know if bringing them here would be a good idea.
he'd probably
I don't
be
wanna-
able to navigate it well, though.
If he
That's-
remembers it at all.
Well, we could go and quiz him
Probably
and
does.
see what he does remember. Or at least, like, try to quiz him.
Good luck.
Cosmic will, like, scratch his chin and say, when I can't remember something, I usually just have to try it again and, like, use my muscle memory. That's the only way I can really remember stuff.
Good strategy. Alright, maybe, but either way, all this hinges on us agreeing to come back another day.
Hmm.
More prepared, more ways to store all the information we got so that we can take them down.
And we could make
Legacy
screen copies if we needed to.
Legacy
make
will
copies.
hold up a hand and like a single finger. It's kind of like the weights gesture. I
You?
I will leave, but I need to try at least once to get to a certain room.
What room?
Memory around the chemicals that were in the last war.
Oh, what was the last corporate war? Like, I don't know, like 11 or more years ago, I think.
Well, if she's so serious about it, it has to probably pertain to her.
No, I mean, if we're trying to get information on chemicals from a warfare, it would either be...
I found some of the paperwork for it in the library. And she will pull up her pictures and go to the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume the only door that they have now is the fucking time travel door.
No, technically, no. There is a door behind you and the time travel door in front of you. And at this point, the eye has very quietly and without notice vanished from the room, and you are left with the room as you see it. There is a clock and the door.
She will kind of focus in on the papers and kind of stare at them and like read them over a little bit again and walk over to the door. It's still like staring at the paperwork. Open the door.
Okay. So, if I remember correctly, you're holding on to some paperwork that is a combination of Herget's Liao chemical paperwork to show purchases between Herget's Liao and Tetsuo during the Third Corporate War.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
Okay. So you look at it and then open that door after looking at the paper, and you are greeted with a laboratory. Well, let me see. Where is it? There it is. Doop. And this is very familiar to you, Media, considering you did
it's
see
this
this
place
area.
again.
It doesn't look exactly the same. It's not the exact same place, but it is a similar looking area, probably in the same building. But the tech all looks of the appropriate era that you saw before. And Legacy, when you open the door, you are greeted to these like vats. In this particular version of the scene, there aren't brains in jars. These are just giant vats of like roiling liquids that are all being mixed or tossed about in some way, and there's just a steady hum of electric machinery, like just machinery doing some opaque thing to the chemicals, either temperature control or adding certain things or mixing certain things. This is manufacturing probably what you assume to be the chemicals mentioned in the paperwork you are looking at.
Is there people moving around the lab, or is it empty?
It is empty.
She's going inside. She is looking for any paperwork, any lab manuals or notebooks or computers that she can find.
Roll me a clever check, and you can add your conspiracy and your corporate bonus to this.
I am boosting this one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as you are like walking through this lab, there are hallways that extend out of view, like as if you were to continue down past some of the vats and then go to a little extension, a hallway that turns down and goes to presumably other rooms or other labs or coordinates or not coordinates or different sections of the various like building you're in. And this, as you're walking around and just observing everything, there are notebooks here, some of which have what appears to be useful information. Some of it is maintenance for the machinery. Some of it is like just standard operating manuals. Some of it is like a log book to dictate like what was done, when was this last serviced. It's like that kind of thing. But eventually you just perusing through some of the shelves and nearby desks, you find a booklet, or not a booklet, a binder. That's what it's called, a 3-ring binder that is like a 3-inch thick like stacked full of papers manual. And just looking at it, this is a really wildly advanced chemical cookbook, so to speak, of the different mixes that are being used here and manufactured. Some of these are just doing like a casual perusal through the book. Some of them are standard kind of chemicals you would see, like there would be things for commercial grade cleaning materials or other sorts of things like that. But there is something that you would notice. Something that Neon actually brought to mind as you are flipping through these, looking at some of the chemicals mentioned here. The specific chemicals mentioned here are perfect for making some of the most potent chemicals that were used during the corporate wars. One of which, namely, is blue glass. There are other weapons here. There's stuff for, like, there are chemicals here that you are very well aware are completely toxic to people, and they're mass producing it. If you wanted to find proof that Tetsuo was making some kind of mix of illicit or otherwise harmful chemicals, this cookbook basically has all of the recipes you could hope for, and it's stamped with the Hergatz Liao logo, and it does line up with the order numbers and dates of the papers you already have.
She will, having kind of flipped through, skimmed through a little bit, go back and take very pointed video while also like looking over the page, even if she is not like completely comprehending all of it. So like, I guess subconscious has the words of every page that she thinks might be of particular importance.
Yes. So that would give you, I will say that you can get like a brief glimpse of what the chemicals being made were and just a general idea of how they are made. You would also know what ones are being mass produced here, the most notable of which is a very volatile version of blue glass. And you would also have a digital copy that corresponds to the orders that were placed. And the orders that you placed on the papers you already have are stamped more officially in Tetsuo's logo. Like, most of the stuff you're finding is Hergatz Liao. Because this period was during what was thought to be a merger, which later turned into an acquisition. So Tetsuo's logo isn't everywhere, but there is enough of a paper trail that you can definitively say, like, the chemicals manufactured here are damning to Hergatz Liao because they are making a chemical weapon. And it is damning to Tetsuo in that Tetsuo is purchasing from them a chemical weapon.
Once she is done taking the video of all the pages, she closes the binder and like picks it up, and there is just a very distinct moment where you can see her processing wanting to perform some act of violence. but thinking better of it and just slowly, very tensely putting the binder back down. And just kind
As you
of
set the
crossing her arms.
just as you set the binder back down on the little desk which you found it, and this doesn't take much time at all. This takes maybe just a few minutes worth of opening the door, walking over to the desk, seeing all of the stacks of things that you know are filled with like rich amounts of data, but are not pertinent to what you're looking for. Not the like nail in the coffin you are looking to find for this company. You eventually find the book, sift through it, collect everything you need, and you have that moment where you set the binder back down on the desk and cross your arms. And the moment that you fully release the binder and cross your arms, you can feel like the big, like supportive shadow of Marcus behind you, and his arms wrap around, and this kind of behind you hug, and he puts his chin on top of your head.
She'll kind of accept the hug and kind of lean back against him for a minute. She is not capable of speech at the moment. So she'll
Marcus just, yeah.
she'll stand there for a second and then just like sigh and kind of turn slightly and just like, okay, let's go type maneuver. Not trying to get away from him though.
He will, like, following your lead, maneuver himself so that he's able to keep an arm kind of draped over your shoulder so that you can walk out together. And he will say, in a hopefully affirming way, if we need to come back for anything, we can. But don't force yourself to.
She just kind of scrunches her face slightly. Not really much forcing needed. Was not ever really planning on being able to take Tetsuo down. But let's just say it's always been a dream.
Well, I don't know about the whole of Tetsuo, but I do know how we can shut the Hex project down.
If I can prove this chemical trail, then even if the name remains, every part of the company is going to be gutted.
I think that's something I could get behind.
Talme speaks up and says, well, hell, if these guys were at all involved in the corporate wars, especially for chemical warfare, shit, I'll do whatever I can do to help bring them down. I don't fully understand still what's happening, but if this is all real, then I'm on board.
Legacy will just kind of nod slightly. Kind of like sizing Talme up and then kind of eyes moving towards Cassidy and sizing her up. Trying to also see how much of this whole situation she's even been paying fucking attention to.
I mean, she really just wants to get out of this house. But, so you were vocal, right, about Hergatzlau?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, there probably would be some, like, mention in the library of her explaining the paperwork that she found of the chemicals going from Hergatz to Tetsuo. So there would be a knowledge that Hergatz is involved in this.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. She's just gonna stay quiet. She just wants to leave.
Like, she just kind of, like, narrows her eyes for a second. And shakes her head. And look up towards Marcus.
He smiles. Kind of like there's a half smile of like somewhere between nervous but supportive.
Think you're ready to go to war against your company?
He looks up, and if you follow his eyes, you can see he looks over towards Lockhart for just a split second, and then looks back down to you and will say, I think I kind of have to be. Just tell me what I need to do to help, and I'll make it happen. You hear the sound of a bullet being slide racked into a chamber as Cosmic had very discreetly unchambered one of the rounds from the gun so that he could rechamber it to make the statement of he's still here, and he also, like, one hand on the gun, fingers down the barrel or down the slide, he just goes, I'm ready to help too. Not necessarily just with this, but also with this.
Cool. You know, that's great, Cosmic. That safety better be on, though.
It's on.
Good.
Like, he's just kind of leaned a little bit more into Marcus when he's like, well, I guess I have to. And she just, like, pokes her head around to look at Cosmic. And there's just, like, this, like, smirk. Sometimes you concern me, but I do have to say, I knew there was a reason why I liked you the best out of Lindis's friends.
For the first time, you see Cosmic, like, get a little blushy in the cheek as he just kind of awkwardly accepts the compliment and will scratch the back of his head and holster the pistol. And he was like, oh, okay, thanks.
Oh yeah, I have info about that too. I got a lot of information from that clock.
You know something about Lindis?
Well, about the
Save it,
Lindis-
save it, save it,
Oh,
save
okay,
fucking
yeah.
save it.
Okay. I'm sorry, I've been silenced. I can't talk.
Like, just, like, closes her eyes and, like, pinches the bridge of her nose. And just, like, gestures towards the other door. Who wants to try and find the exit?
Let's think really hard about it.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Cracker
maybe-
hands to leave.
Imagining the door... Yeah, imagine the living room. Think about the living room.
How about we think about the porch outside of the house?
I don't think we're gonna magically teleport outside the house, though. But if we
Wait,
can get
hold
to the
on.
front door...
Well, I parked my bike right out front, right? I remember that I did, and I had to move this fucking piece of fucking. I don't know who the fuck left a box in the fucking street, but I had to move that. I remember having to fucking deal with that shit before I could park my bike on the fucking curb. But I can try to remember that.
Well, you're already remembering it.
Open the door, Kaya.
The door opens.
As Kaya, you'd like declare that memory, and then Media, you're like, you're already remembering that. Larry, from like right beside your head, floating now with no issue, just claps his little manipulators, just like, good work. Remember.
Thanks, bud. She's gonna be like, all right, fuck it. Open the door.
Okay. You, Kaya, specifically remembering moving that goddamn box, who the fuck put that there? You open the door, and there is a long, dark hallway. And at the end of it, there is the faint dimness of light. You can see that there is a shut door at the end of this long and dark hallway. But something about it feels promising. And
All right.
I assume everyone just shuffles down.
Yeah, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you all shuffle down the long and dark corridor. It takes just a second of walking, and you get to the second door at the end of this long and dark hallway. And for a moment, you are trapped in total, like just stark darkness as one door shuts behind you and the other is opened. And you arrive right back in the living room, facing out from this hallway.
Is the like little like cloth thing still hooked around the doorknob to keep the
Yeah,
door
we
from
left-
latching?
Yeah, like it's still hooked around the door. The door is technically not latched, which is why there is a little bit of light creeping through. But you're back.
Holy shit, it worked.
You say that, and then immediately Talmay like brushes past you and just goes, "Oh my god, thank God."
Cassidy is following very quickly behind her.
Runs
Okay,
back
let's go
out
get that
and
drink,
then
yeah?
looks at the living room and just goes, "I never thought I would be so glad to see such an ugly living room."
Legacy just like does this like little hand gesture towards Talmay and Cassidy of like fucking these people, and like looks to not Marcus, because Marcus sometimes falls into that category. Probably looks towards Lockhart. It's like these civilians.
She gives a slight shrug, as in, like, what do you expect? Kind of thing. So, I has a question.
Uh-huh.
We can't move things from between the memories, correct?
Correct.
So, the phone disappeared then, correct?
You go to check your pocket for the phone, and there isn't a phone.
Okay.
It is, in fact, gone.
Just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
Kaya suddenly remembers. Her head fucking jerks up suddenly from where she's like looking at the others leaving. She's like, oh shit. Reaches into her pocket, pulls out Lockhart's phone.
She'll catch it.
Yeah, she'll just fucking hand over to like, yeah, that's right. Still had this made a radio though, so thanks for it. Didn't think we were gonna separate it though, so that's kinda unfortunate. But here you go.
Thanks.
Larry, you pass him the phone, and or pass her the phone, and then Larry, as you watching you toss it, just goes, "It was weird being a fucking walkie-talkie."
The guy just stiffens and she looks at Larry. Ah,
Could you tell good weird or bad weird or just weird?
yeah, did it make you uncomfortable? Did it hurt? You don't want to do it again, you don't gotta.
No, no pain, just weird. He just shrugs.
Like something you don't like kind of weird or something new weird?
Something new weird.
Okay. Let's go as long as it
You-
isn't her.
Legacy, you hear during that exchange, Marcus just like stifles his own little snort at the comment because he's just like, I don't know how to process this. Just
Okay, good. As long as it didn't like stress your processes too much. I'm not really sure how fucking father signal went, considering we're in this weird, whatever the fuck that was. I'm honestly kind of surprised it worked, but you know what? I'm not gonna look too much into it. I don't want to fucking think about it. But thank you very much for doing that, Larry. I don't know if I think you're ready, but thank you very much for doing that. And for not being afraid to jump down into the fucking abyss.
We're still taking him on a roller coaster.
We can talk about that later, alright? I don't even think there's a roller coaster on the fucking station.
there are roller coasters on the station.
Mhm. There has to be at least one amusement park.
There is an amusement park. There's a mall. There's a mega mall. There's an amusement park in the mall.
There's probably like 20 mega malls. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what if his magnets get caught on something and he just gets, stuck, or if he gets hurt, or I don't know, what if his calibrations get all fucked up from the high speed?
Okay.
Legacy listens to it for a second and then kind of smirks and saying it loud enough for Kaya to hear. Will look up towards Marcus. She is such a mom, and she's only been a mom for 3 months.
I'm not a mom.
Marcus just like he is just like, oh, okay. I think we should just have the conversation, just outside the spooky living room. This place smells like mold, and I don't like it. And he looks at Legacy and just goes, and I mean, she's really momming it right now, but I'm not gonna say that to her because I don't think she would think it is as funny from me.
Legacy just like grins.
Not fucking funny in the first place. Larry, come on, get away from the fucking thing.
And for like no, I wouldn't say first time, but Legacy is actually like leaning into Marcus and very much in that like she's just letting him actually fucking drag her along. She's done.
Talmay is seeing this conversation about like as everyone's moving and kind of sashaying towards the exit, she will look over to Kai and be like, you don't have to be offended or ashamed about it. I think it is totally legitimate to acknowledge your own robotics as your children. I have a cat and I am his mom.
She blinks.
What?
Congrats. Cool cat. I don't really know what to... It's kind of a different situation, yeah?
Oh.
Because,
Oh.
I'm not his mom. I
You
keep saying I'm acting like some...
fucking are.
Like a mom.
well, you're the
What'd
one
you
who
say?
created him.
Well, yeah, obviously, I'm an engineer.
You designed him, you created him, you executed the creation, you continued to tweak it until he started to come alive. You're continuing to teach him, and you're overprotective
Yeah.
as hell, even though you can fix him.
Kaya,
You're a mom.
roll me a clever check, and you can add your any sort of drone
Drone
use.
go.
You can add drone use to this.
Okay. What, engineering?
Just
Also?
no, just a
Just drone use?
just drone use.
Okie doke. I'd like to boost this. I get a free boost from you.
You're gonna use the free boost now?
I thought you said it's the next roll.
Oh yeah, you're right. I did. It was the free next roll. Go ahead.
Okay, so like I can only use it now.
No, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're explaining all of this and like trying to explain that you cannot and would not and could not be Larry's mom. And from and then Legacy is explaining that you are and will continue to be his mom. Larry, from behind you, you don't see it, but you can feel like Larry gesticulating or like moving around. And then you like turn up to look at him, and you catch like the barest moment of him like doing some sort of like hand across the neck, cut it out gesture. And then like the second you look at him and make eye contact, he puts his little manipulators like back away and is pretending that they were just by his side.
She stops and she just like looks down at him. You know that look when you're doing something stupid and your mom catches you and she just
Yes.
stares at you for that's exactly what she does.
I think you're making her angry.
Oh, I
When
make
I
her.
get a curfew.
No.
Look, I'm not a mom. We're, friends. Best friends. Not mom.
You can see Larry Legacy has like put a single manipulator to his what would be his mouth in a shush.
Yeah, you just get this like snort from Legacy.
I feel like I'm hearing a lot of attitude from Legs and I'm not here for it.
That's because if you're mom, I'm aunt. I teach him the fun shit. Like roller coasters.
Look, I've been able to keep him away from Rat for as long as fucking possible. I don't need.
Oh,
Larry
that's
openly protests. It's just like, but I like Rat.
And Rat's probably gonna teach you how to solder a rocket onto your fucking manipulator if I let her.
Wait,
Just
we can
Link's
put a
like-
rocket on him?
No.
You're sounding an awful lot like a mom, Kaya. Just saying.
You know what I need? I need a fucking
drink?
drink. Yes, I need a fucking drink. And
Okay, well, let's go.
We're not putting rockets on Larry unless he really wants the speed boost, and we could probably do something, but not on his manipulators. It's not sturdy enough to actually have that much voice on him.
You hear that, Larry? You want a speed boost? We're gonna like solder a fucking rocket skateboard to your ass.
We wouldn't be soldering, and that connection is strong enough. It had to be a weld onto probably the backmost part of it that's actually sturdy enough to handle that kind of pressure, not to mention the forward momentum it'd get from the sudden rocket boost.
Zoom,
But
zoom,
wait,
Larry.
we're not fucking doing this.
Zoom, zoom.
To the door.
Yeah.
I'm following her.
Wait.
Me and her need to have a talk.
Talme, as you are walking out, like whispers to you, Cassie just goes, "It's really cute watching like someone with their brand new kind of child."
She will giggle and be like, I'm just ready to get out of this fucking house.
God,
Oh,
Cody.
And with that, you are out of the house. You did it.
Deep
You
sigh of relief.
successfully
Check
escaped.
fucking time as we exit the door.
Ooh.
What time is it?
You check the time. It is 11:55 in the evening. You were there for a few hours.
We got there like noon, one-ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
A few hours, but not like a stupidly long time either.
Correct.
I mean, if we
you
got
you did not lose.
11:55 p.m.
Hmm.
It's been like what, 10 hours?
Mm-hmm.
That's more than a few.
But you did at least it hasn't been like more than a day. So
Yeah.
you lost the rest of the day, but
Mhm.
you are
Con-
free.
considering the fact that I have spent at least that long in like a mall before, not that bad.
Okay. Okay.
You can conceivably spend 10 hours in one place and it not be an issue.
True.
All right. Kaya's gonna go to her bike, and she's going to take the box that she had to move out of the way, and she's gonna put it back on the street so that she can remember it for next time. Put it back in her
That-
parking spot.
That is a clever mnemonic device.
What does mnemonic?
It's a
I'll
memory
wait to
trick.
help you remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And Legacy will, as the last person leaves, pause and like take the fucking cloth off the door so like the door actually latches.
Yeah. In the dark of the night, as you are all walking out, you you last one out, slip the cloth off of the handle, and you hear the creaking like as the door latches itself closed. It's still beat up. The shutters are still in shambles. People still have likely been avoiding it this entire time. And you are now back to your familiar metallic spacey home, and you can look up and see the prongs of the other two wings of the station spinning above you as if they had just been sitting here this whole time.
Cool.
And you go off into the night to fucking sleep.
Can I
Oh.
have Lockhart do something real quick?
Go ahead.
Would it be okay if she, so she moves around a lot. So could she have some like supplies and stuff in her trunk for car?
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So she'd pop her trunk and pull out like something akin to like icy hot, I guess, or something small like that, and toss it to Marcus. Like try and pull him aside and toss it to him.
Yeah. So you like do the signal to Marcus that you want him to come here, which is like you make eye contact with him, which generally he just feels as if there is a psychic intuition. He just knows when you are staring at him. He looks over to you and you do the head tilt, like over here.
Get over here, yeah.
He'll take a few steps towards you, and before he actually gets to you, you toss the little like cool pack.
Yeah, it's like imagine the athletes like rub on stuff kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm imagining. It's like
Oh
a
yeah,
like a deodorant kind of bar-ish kind of thing.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you toss that to him, and he takes it, and like there's a little bit of surprise, and he will smile at you and do like it's the gesture like you toast a glass to someone, but he is toasting the little hot cold pack that you gave him, and will like salute you with it. And he'll slap it on. Yeah, he'll just slap that shit on immediately, and you and Legacy both can hear the palpable like ah.
And Legacy is just like watches, doesn't say anything, but there is a slightly sour look that crosses her face again as she is reminded. And that's probably going to be a conversation for next time.
Yeah.
Because we have
I'll
to
talk about.
we have a lot to talk about. An info dump for people, processing, planning. Legacy is going to definitely talk to Marcus. Maybe talk to Lockhart too. Probably talk to Lockhart.
If it happens, it happens.
Oh, I'm so glad that you guys got to some of the good bits of the lore. There's still some secret stuff in the house that you can find if you wanted to go really siphon every last drop out of it.
Oh, you know that we are.
Oh, 100%.
Because I still really wanted to go chasing the kid route.
Uh-huh.
But unfortunately, Legacy has a priority list and kid is like number 3 on there.
I'm also curious about what that key was to. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. I will update this really quick. So 97